at the headlines. Federal government implements salary agreements with ASU. No fund extends loan applications over rise in nationwide demand. In other news, Israel launches new attacks on Tehran and Beirut. We'll bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We begin the news at noon from the national scene, where the federal government has begun the implementation of key welfare components of the 2025 renegotiated agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Education Minister Tunji Alausa confirmed this in a statement in Abuja about the Director of Press and Public Relations in the ministry, Wariwo Folashade. The minister reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's commitment to the well-being of academic staff and the stability of the Nigerian university system. He stressed that this was another renewed hope initiative in action. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Education says it has formalized a strategic partnership with the National Population Commission to integrate birth registration and demographic data into Nigeria's school enrollment and education planning systems. This was announced in a statement, issued via X by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education, Wariwo Folashade. According to the statement, the Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, said credible population data is essential for rational school siting, balanced teacher deployment, accurate enrollment projections, and equitable resource allocation, noting that integrating birth registration into admission processes would promote proper age placement and strengthen the integrity of academic records. In his response, the NPC chairman, Aminu Yusuf, reaffirmed the Commission's mandate to maintain Nigeria's civil registration and vital statistics system. Still in education, Nigerian Education Loan Fund (NEL) has said that it has approved an extension of its student loan application portal following a significant increase in awareness and nationwide demand generated by its ongoing sensitization campaign. A statement by the Director, Strategic Communications, NEL Fund, Osheyemi Oluwatuyi, noted that the decision followed a reminder notice issued last week informing the public that the NEL Fund student loan application portal would close on February 27, 2026. According to the statement, the extension was specifically intended to accommodate students who require additional time to complete their applications. Prospective applicants who became aware of the scheme during the recent nationwide sensitization engagements, institutions newly commencing their 2025-2026 academic section, and institutions who have not yet submitted their verified student list. Speaking on the development, the Managing Director, Chief Executive of NEL Fund, Akintunde Sawyer, reaffirmed the fund's commitment to inclusivity and equitable access, reiterating that institutions that have not yet commenced the 2025-2026 academic section must submit an official request for extension, accompanied by the approved academic calendar for consideration. Away from that, Akwa State Governor Pastor Moana has said the state's Geriatric Center, otherwise called the Arise Elderly Citizens Center, will be commissioned by the nation's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, on Saturday, March 7, 2026. Speaking at the March edition of Government House Monthly Covenant Service, the governor said the commissioning of the center, located on the Arise Medical Corridor along Uyo Ikadapana Road, will be one of the major events of the First Lady's first official visit to the state, stating that the other will be the grand finale of the ongoing women's sensitization and mobilization tour. Governor Enrolment says that the facility, with a health center, relaxation sports, amongst others, will serve senior citizens, specifically those above 65 years. He also announced that the state will take delivery of 2 new Airbus within the year, adding that different projects were ongoing at the Victor Atta International Airport ahead of the commencement of international flights in April. The governor equally announced the scheduling of the state's Congress of the ruling All Progressives Congress for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, and called on everyone to take part in the exercise. He reminded the congregation to continue to pray for the success of the administration, as well as for the Senate President of Nigeria, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and President Bola Tinubu. Now to the red chambers, where the Senate has rescinded its earlier resolution calling for the removal of the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC), Hussein Magaji, following an apology and renewed commitment to improve communication with the National Assembly. Recall that the Senate Committee on Finance, chaired by Sani Musa, had last week recommended Magaji's removal by Bola Tinubu over his repeated failure to appear before the committee. However, at a session yesterday, the committee reversed its position after the CAC boss expressed remorse and announced the creation of a liaison office to strengthen coordination between the Commission and the National Assembly. Following his apology, several lawmakers appealed for leniency, describing the registrar as a respectful and dedicated public servant. From the judiciary, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed April 13 for judgment in the 868 million naira money laundering case filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) against former acting accountant general of the Federation, Chukwu Nyere Nwaboko. Justice James Omotosho fixed the date after EFCC's lawyer Ekele Iheanacho, senior advocate of Nigeria, and the ex-AGOF's counsel Norison Kweka-San adopted their final written addresses and presented their arguments for and against the case. Reports say Nwaboko was admitted to a 500 million naira bill with 2 sureties in like sum after he was arraigned on January 15 last year on a 9-count amended charge. The EFCC, who listed Nwaboko as the sole defendant in the case, said the offense is contrary to Section 18 of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011, as amended by Act No. 1 of 2012, and punishable under Section 15, Sub 3 of the same Act. In another development, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM) has debunked reports claiming it stated that no distress calls had been received from Nigerians stranded in the Middle East and the escalating crisis in the region, clarifying that inquiries have indeed been made by citizens abroad. In a statement issued by its official X handle and signed by the Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols Abuja, Abdurrahman Balogun, the Commission distanced itself from the circulating claim. Balogun clarified that, contrary to the report, the Commission had received inquiries from Nigerians in parts of the Gulf and Iran regarding possible evacuation plans. Meanwhile, the clarification comes against the backdrop of heightened tensions in the Middle East following military strikes carried out on February 28, 2026 by the United States and Israel in Iran. Now to Africa, where Zimbabwe has begun releasing nearly 4,000 inmates under a presidential amnesty. in a bid to ease overcrowding in the country's prisons. Recall that the cabinet in February also approved changes to the constitution as part of a plan to extend President Emerson Mnangagwa's term to 2030. The order grants a general amnesty to specific categories of convicted inmates as authorized by the president. Zimbabwe's Justice Minister Zimyabi said the action reflects a commitment to restorative justice and national compassion, adding that the pardon did not include prisoners convicted of serious crimes. On the foreign scene, the Israeli military has launched new strikes in Tehran and Beirut, attacking what it calls military targets. Israel also said ground troops will advance and seize additional strategic areas in Lebanon in order to prevent fire on Israeli border communities. Reports say U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is hit by 2 drones, seemingly from Iran. The attack causes a limited fire and minor damage. Meanwhile, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio yet to come. Still on the foreign scene, China has removed 3 retired military generals, including the former commander of the People's Liberation Army Ground Force, from a top political advisory body just days before its largest annual political gathering. The advisory body, the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference (CPPCC), voted to remove Han Weiguo, Gao Jin, and Liu Lie yesterday. Authorities are yet to give explanation for the ousters, but this comes after a purges of military top brass picked up pace in recent weeks. Still to come in the news. Bournemouth set to lock horns with Brentford as Everton faces Burnley in EPL match tonight. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned in. Now to the rest of the news stories. On a business news, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadoso, has said that Nigeria's net foreign exchange reserves rose sharply to $34.8 billion at the end of 2025, representing a 772% increase from $3.9 billion recorded at the end of 2023 and signaling what he described as a significant strengthening in the country's external buffers. In a press statement, the Apex Bank said the improvements in both gross and net reserves reflected stronger external sector fundamentals and sustained policy reforms. Recall that Kadoso had earlier disclosed at the Post-Monetary Policy Committee briefing that Nigeria's gross external reserves stood at $50.45 billion as of February 16, 2026. Still in business, trading on the Nigerian exchange closed on a strong note yesterday, with key sectoral indices posting gains led by banking, oil and gas and consumer goods stocks. Data from the Nigerian Exchange Limited indicated that the all share index rose to 195.514 points from 192.826 recorded last week, and market capitalization climbed to 125.49 trillion naira, up from 123.76 trillion naira in the previous session. In terms of market activity, trading metrics diverged as volume traded declined 4.12% to 789.9 million units, while total value traded improved marginally by 0.94% to 35.08 billion naira. On our health news, health experts have called on the federal government to integrate obesity prevention services into primary health care centers nationwide. They noted that PHCs remain the first point of contact for many Nigerians and provide a strategic platform for early screening, nutrition counseling and lifestyle education needed to prevent obesity and related non-communicable diseases. According to them, focusing solely on treatment without preventive interventions at the grassroots levels continues to fuel rising cases of hypertension, diabetes and heart diseases linked to obesity. Now to the world of sports, where AFC Bournemouth is looking to secure their first ever Premier League victory as they take on Brentford to bolster their hopes of European qualification at 7:30 p.m. tonight at Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth. The Cherries have moved into a strong mid-table position under manager Andoni Iraola, currently sitting in 9th place with 39 points. Iraola oversaw a dominant but frustrating 1-1 draw with Sunderland last weekend, and his side now faces their ultimate hoodoo, notably Bournemouth, have never beaten Brentford in 7 Premier League meetings, making them the only side the Cherries have faced in the competition without a win. Other fixtures expected today peg Everton against Burnley, Leeds United hosts Sunderland, while Wolverhampton Wanderers will face Liverpool. Still in sports, Galatasaray have omitted Victor Osimhen from their squad for tonight's Turkish Cup clash against Alanyaspor. According to a statement released by the Yellow and Reds, Osimhen is one of several key players left out of the squad for them to observe active rest. The Nigeria international registered a goal and an assist against same opponent in a Turkish Super League clash last weekend. Osimhen is expected to return to action when Galatasaray take on Besiktas in the Istanbul Derby this weekend. The 27-year-old has registered 17 goals and 6 assists in 25 appearances, all competitions for Galatasaray this season. On entertainment news, American former rapper Shane Diddy Combs is now set for prison release. The mogul, aged 56, was originally set to be released June 4, 2028, but will now work free April 25, 2028. This comes amid his ongoing battle to appeal his 4-year sentence after he was jailed on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Diddy Combs. News at this hour. Do well to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12 a.m. Thanks for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.